Teresa is a young woman who dreams of becoming a photographer. She works as a sales clerk in a large department store in Manhattan, where every day is monotonous. Her life at first glance seems ordinary, devoid of bright emotions, but it is full of inner longing and search for something more. Teresa does not feel truly happy in her relationship with her boyfriend Richard. He is infatuated with her and plans a future together, but Teresa does not share his enthusiasm and is increasingly alienated from him. She is attracted to another world, the world of art and photography, where she finds an outlet for her feelings and desires. However, everything changes one day when Carol enters the department store. Carol is an elegant, confident middle-aged woman who comes to the department store to buy a Christmas present for her daughter Rindy. She chooses a toy railroad, but accidentally leaves her gloves on the counter. Teresa notices this and, feeling an irresistible attraction to this mysterious woman, decides to return her lost item. She mails the gloves with her return address. This action becomes the beginning of their connection, which becomes more and more personal and emotionally intense with each meeting. Carol thanks Teresa by inviting her to lunch. Their meeting takes place in a restaurant where they discuss their lives and interests. The conversation seems simple and mundane, but there is something more behind every word. Teresa, who is used to the ordinary and grayness of her life, is struck by the ease with which Carol talks about her problems. She learns that Carol is in a difficult situation. She is divorcing her husband Harge, with whom she has a difficult relationship. Harge suspects that Carol has been having an affair with a woman, her friend Abby, and intends to use this against her in a custody battle over their daughter. Carol openly shares her worries without trying to hide the complexities of her life. This candid conversation awakens something new in Teresa. She begins to feel more than just friendly sympathy for Carol. Carol also feels a strange attraction to the young girl, although she realizes how dangerous their relationship can be. After dinner, Carol invites Teresa to her home. At this point, their connection becomes even more apparent. Teresa gradually enters Carol's world, where wealth and luxury seem to be a shell for a deep inner drama. At Carol's house they spend time together, discuss personal topics, and despite their reserved manners, there is a growing emotional tension between them. Every touch, every glance speaks of a budding affection. Meanwhile, Teresa continues to struggle with her own feelings. Her relationship with Richard is finally coming to a standstill. She feels that her life with him does not bring her joy, but at the same time she is afraid to fully admit her feelings for Carol. This internal contradiction becomes a central part of her heartbreak. Teresa senses a strength and confidence in Carol that she lacks and is even more attracted to her. When Carol suggests that Teresa go on a little trip together, Teresa agrees. She realizes that the trip may arouse suspicion and judgment, but she is drawn to be closer to Carol. Their journey begins as an ordinary drive on American roads, but each day they spend together strengthens their emotional bond. They stay in different motels, eat at simple cafes, spend time talking and being silent when words seem unnecessary. This time becomes a moment for both of them when they can finally be themselves, away from the judgmental gaze of society. One night at the motel, they finally give in to their feelings. Their first night together is filled not so much with physical passion, but with a release of fear and doubt. This moment becomes the culmination of their emotional journey as they both realize that their love is real, though it cannot exist without obstacles. Carol allows herself to openly express her feelings for the first time in a long time, and Teresa finally finds answers to her inner questions. However, their happiness is quickly overshadowed. Harge, who has no intention of losing Carol, hires a private detective to spy on her. He tapes their night together, obtaining evidence that could ruin Carol's life. With this tape, Harge plans to win a court case and strip Carol of custody of their daughter. Upon learning this, Carol is faced with the agonizing choice of continuing a relationship with Teresa that could ruin her life and rob her of her ability to be a mother, or giving up her love for her daughter. In the end, Carol decides to return to New York and cut ties with Teresa. She meets with Harge and offers him a compromise. She agrees to give up the fight for full custody of Rindy in exchange for the right to see her daughter. This move becomes a hard and bitter decision for her, but Carol realizes that she cannot afford to lose her daughter completely. Meanwhile, Teresa feels betrayed and devastated. She feels like Carol has chosen a life of routine and given up on their love. Teresa returns to her life in New York, trying to forget Carol and immerse herself in her work again. A few months pass and Teresa begins to find solace in photography. She works on her pictures, meets new people, and although her life is slowly getting better, the feeling of loss does not leave her. She feels that a part of her soul has remained with Carol, and this thought does not give her peace. Suddenly, however, Carol gets in touch again. She invites Teresa to a meeting at a restaurant. Their conversation starts out reserved and tense, with both women experiencing mixed feelings. Carol confesses that she can't live without Teresa, despite the circumstances. She offers her a fresh start, but this time more openly and honestly. Carol is ready to take responsibility for her feelings, despite the risks and judgment of society. She realizes that to live in lies and fear is to not live at all. Teresa doesn't know how to respond at first. Her pain has not yet subsided, but she sees in Carol's eyes sincerity and willingness to change. In the final scene of the movie, Teresa walks across the restaurant hall to the table where Carol is sitting. Their gazes meet, and at that moment it becomes clear that, despite all the difficulties, their story is not over.